organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, President Obama's visit to Iowa City earlier this month was short but expensive. Find out how much money the university paid to host the event.
And find out what local schools are doing to increase high school students' ACT scores.
And in sports, see what head coach Kirk Ferentz had to say at his weekly press conference this afternoon.
That's all coming your way next.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for tuning in to your Tuesday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Allie Wright.
And I'm Ryan Jones. President Obama's visit to the University of Iowa campus earlier this month cost the university about $55,000, and nearly half of that will not be reimbursed. The university spent more than $18,000 on labor for the event on the Pentecrest, more than $2,000 on catering, and more than $2,000 on materials.
Officials spent $25,000 on UI police support and security, which the UI will not see. About 8,000 people gathered on the Pentecrest on September 7th to see President Obama, Vice President Joe Biden, and their wives. Iowa City's city councilors will discuss the city's efforts to rebuild municipal property damaged by the 2008 flood. The updates could force the council to adjust its budget for fiscal 2014. 17 flood mitigation projects are now in progress in Iowa City. The projects are expected to cost about $158 million. The city is receiving more than $102 million in state and federal aid, but officials say they hope to receive additional funding.
But that's not all the council will be discussing Tuesday evening. Councilors will vote for the final approval of a law that would limit where payday lenders can operate. A payday lender is a provider of small, short-term loans, which are also known as cash advances. 6 payday lenders exist in Iowa City, including Check and Go, Check into Cash, and Advanced American Cash Advance. The law has already been unanimously passed by the council during the first 2 votes. It would restrict payday lenders from setting up within 1,000 feet of each other, a school, a church, or a park.
Iowa has always been known for its above-average education system, but Iowa City seems to be even farther above the curve. A report from the Iowa City School District showed the 2012 classes at Iowa City High and West High averaged an ACT score of 25. Daily Iowan TV's Rebecca Hager tells us why these students are excelling.
Intelligent, hardworking, and motivated. These are just a few of the words Iowa City principals use to describe their students.
Most of our kids come to school very understanding and very knowledgeable about the importance of doing well in school and what that means to their life after high school.
ACT scores are one of the measures that reflect the Iowa City students' discipline in academics. Last year, City High's graduating class boasted an average ACT score of 24.7. City West's class of 2012 averaged 25.8. This is the highest the average score has been in 26 years. Students attribute their success to both work at home and in the classroom.
But a lot of what we learn helps us to, do well in ACT, but then studying outside of school was what really helped me, I thought.
The state of Iowa as a whole, on the other hand, had an average of 22.1, a significantly lower score than Iowa City schools, yet a higher score than the national average of 21.1. Great test scores don't come without hard work. During the day, you can find over 50% of City West students in AP classrooms like this one. And at City High, students are taking over 800 AP classes.
I believe that by challenging themselves with high-level academic classes, they become very well prepared.
And this standard of excellence is nothing new. The Iowa City School District has had exceptional test scores in previous years as well, an achievement that administration believes is the result of passionate teachers, hardworking students, and a supportive community. Rebecca Hager, Daily Iowan TV.
Still to come on Daily Iowan TV, there are still many students without a permanent home on campus. We'll tell you why some students are still living in temporary housing.
And see which Hawks are making some noise in their respective sports. That's coming up in just a bit, but now let's check in with Daily Iowan TV's Alyssa Bergamini for your local weather forecast. Hey Alyssa, is it still chilly out there?
Yeah, Allie, today's sudden cold snap was a reminder that summer is coming to an end and it is starting to feel like fall for students on campus. The colder temperatures will be staying, so keep those sweaters and jackets out. Taking a look at tomorrow, the morning will start out with clear skies and a cool temperature of 52 degrees. The afternoon will bring in some clouds, but later warm up into the 70-degree range. And finally, the evening will cool off dramatically with a chilly temp of 45 degrees. For the extended forecast, umbrellas will be needed come Thursday and Friday because the chances of rain are high. For Saturday's football game, expect some clouds, but luckily the 63-degree weather will be perfect for fans. We will end the week on Sunday with clear skies and temps in the low 60s. And come Monday, we will start out the week a little bit warmer in the 70-degree range. So before heading out the door, make sure to keep in mind that fall weather has already arrived. That's all for tonight's weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Alyssa. The University of Iowa's Executive Council of Graduate and Professional Students will meet tonight to discuss a possible hike in student fees. If approved, students would be required to pay an additional $20 to bring in more resources. This would include creating a new job at the Pomegranates Career Center to aid graduate students in finding jobs that are not faculty related. Officials from the council say that they are in favor of this hike.
An Iowa City bus driver has been charged with fleeing the scene of an accident after he allegedly caused a crash with a motorcycle. Police say Jamar Collins, who was driving a City of Iowa City transit bus at the time of the accident, did not stop at the stop sign and cut off the driver of the motorcycle while turning onto Court Street. The driver of the motorcycle was injured in the crash. Collins witnessed the crash but drove away without contacting police or supervisors at Iowa City Transit, the report said. Collins is scheduled to appear in court on Tuesday.
And more than 600 workers in Iowa, Kansas, and Florida will lose their jobs at Siemens Energy Incorporated because Congress has not renewed a tax credit for wind energy. Officials from the Wind Energy Equipment Manufacturing Company say that just over 400 of the laid-off workers work in the plant in Fort Madison, Iowa. An increase in natural gas-fueled plants and a tough wind energy market is to blame for Congress's lack of action. The company has installed 3,900 wind energy turbines across the country. They provide enough energy to support nearly 2 million households.
Students are already well into their first semester of college, but many freshmen are still without a room of their own due to an extremely high demand for university housing. Daily Iowan reporter Whitney Blakemore has the story.
For many freshmen, their dorm room becomes their home away from home. But for students like Elise Brown, her living space is only temporary.
Well, at first we had 8 total, and one decided she wanted to leave before classes started, and she moved out, she transferred, and another one moved down the hall with a friend of hers, so we have 6 total now.
Elise applied for housing late last year, forcing her to be placed in expanded housing until a permanent spot opens up.
I mean, it's not like the ideal situation with a bunch of girls in one room. It's kind of like real world.
The university accepts more than they have room for, assuming that some will choose not to go to Iowa or live in the residence halls. But all they can do is predict.
Well, our goal is not to have people in temporary housing, or what we call expanded housing. Our goal is not to have those students in it. Unfortunately, we don't know the number of students that we're going to have apply until after the application process is over.
The university is working to eliminate expanded housing by building a new dorm and hopes to get everyone into a permanent home as soon as possible.
It'll be nice to get out, for sure.
Whitney Blakemore, Daily Iowan TV.
The new residence hall should be completed by 2015 and is expected to house more than 500 students.
And now let's take a look at what is happening around the world. U.S. District Judge Susan Bolton ruled Tuesday that Arizona police can start enforcing a controversial part of the immigration law. The law states police are allowed to question a person's citizenship if officers suspect that they are in the country illegally. Arizona's immigration law passed in 2010.
And fewer soldiers will patrol Afghanistan after NATO's decision to restrict operations with Afghan forces. This action is meant to lessen the threat of insider attacks. Until this decision, the U.S.-led coalition troops conducted operations with small units of the Afghan forces. American troops are now required to carry loaded weapons at all times while they're in Afghanistan, even on their own bases.
Classes at Louisiana State University resumed Tuesday after a bomb threat forced evacuations on campus. University spokesman said LSU police are looking into who called in the threat. College campuses in Ohio, North Dakota, and Texas were evacuated September 14th after bomb threats. Authorities say that they are investigating a possible connection between the threats.
And now Daily Iowan TV's Annie Constable is here for your look at Hawkeye sports.
Hello, and once again, welcome back to the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio. Today, we'll get to some impressive outings from both the men's and women's golf teams, as well as fill you in on one Hawkeye taking home individual honors for the second week straight. But we start, of course, with head coach Kirk Ferentz's weekly press conference. This week, head coach addressed a number of topics, including this weekend's upcoming match, the health of running back Damon Bullock, the progress of the offensive line, and of course, the play of fullback Mark Wiseman.
Turned our sights to Central Michigan yesterday, and playing a team it's kind of unusual right now. They're coming off a bye week. I can't remember many of those early in the season like this, but they've got a bye week in their third week, so they've had a week to rest a little bit, and we've got 2 games to look at on them and then last year's tape. And I think if you look at them, they're a team that runs the ball really well. They've got a veteran group up front. Their backs are doing a good job. 2 big, strong guys, and I think they're one guy's averaging about 8.5 yards a carry. The other guy's close to 6. Team-wise, they're right around 6 yards a carry, so they're doing a good job there. Now the medical staff will tell us when they feel like it's prudent for him to return to action, and so we'll just we'll wait it out and see how things go. But we're optimistic. He's doing really well. He's got a great attitude, but we're not going to put him on the field until it's more than safe. We grew a little bit on Saturday, so that's encouraging. And there's still a lot of work to be done. It's like our team. We took steps forward, but we still have a lot of work to do. But they I thought we did some things better, and you could see some things that were going on in practice show up on Saturday, which is encouraging. I think certainly he showed that he can do some things out there competitively, and brings a different tempo, if you will, running the football than everybody else. And I think there's a place for everything in football, so just if it fits.
Ferentz also answered several questions about the Black and Gold's passing game. Earlier today, I caught up with senior signal caller James Vandenberg to get his take.
Annie Constable standing alongside James Vandenberg. Can you talk about the fact that you're going into the 4th game and you haven't thrown a touchdown pass yet? Do you feel any extra pressure, or is it just how the offense has worked so far?
No, right now we're just taking what they give us, and that's going to happen. Eventually, it's not something we're really worried about. We're worried about getting in the end zone more, and if that includes passing touchdowns, then so be it. But at the end of the year, if we're 11-1 and I have 0 touchdown passes, I don't think you're going to see any frowns on our faces.
Both the men's and women's golf teams are in action this week as well, and 2 individuals have turned in some impressive performances. Junior Stephen Ime continued his exceptional play, firing a 1-under 71 Monday, and trails Missouri's Jace Long by only 2 strokes for the individual lead heading into the final round of play today in Burlington, Iowa. The men's team is also playing well, with the Hawks coming into the final day of play in 6th place, shooting an impressive 7 over for the tournament, leading head coach Mark Hankins to say, quote, "We got out to a nice start and had some great play from different guys. We hung in there nicely and played a pretty solid round." The University of Iowa's women's golf team is also in action this week, sitting in a 14th place after 36 holes at the Branch Law Firm Dick McGuire Invitational, hosted by the University of New Mexico. Hawkeye senior Christy Cardwell was the star of the day, carding her first ever career hole-in-one. And one more update before we throw it back to the desk. Fieldhawks senior goalkeeper Kathleen McGraw was named Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week for the 2nd consecutive week, and for the 3rd time in her career. The Atherton, California native stopped 8 shots and recorded a staggering 8.89 save percentage in the Fieldhawks' 2-1 victory Sunday over 20th ranked Albany at Grant Field. The senior is currently tied for the Big Ten lead in shutouts with 3 in 7 games. That's all we have for you today in sports. Be sure to check back with us tomorrow for an update on a number of sports around the UI campus. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Annie. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek into Wednesday's pages of the Daily Iowan. Read about why the UI is paying for a sustainability ranking.
And find out how laughing is being used as a form of meditation locally.
That's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV.
Be sure to check us out at the same time tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com. Thanks for watching and have a great night.